Well, new on this Wednesday morning, Amazon is slashing thousands of jobs to make way for AI. The tech giant announced today it will cut 16,000 jobs. Amazon says it plans to use artificial intelligence to replace corporate workers. This follows a round of job cuts in October when Amazon laid off 14,000 people. Stories like that make you realize why Michigan State is making such a big investment in artificial intelligence. You can see live here the campus in East Lansing, where the university launching new plans to prepare students for jobs that don't even exist yet. This fall, Michigan State is launching a new AI course that will be part of an almost every major, helping students learn to use AI smartly and responsibly. This initiative is funded by a $5 million grant. Along with the AI course, Michigan State is focusing on providing real-world experience, connecting research with industry to boost innovation and keep graduates in Michigan. So we're trying to understand what all this means and navigate a little bit more. We have Dr. Sanjay Gupta, the co-chair of the Green and White Council over at Michigan State. That's a group of civic and business leaders who advise students on how to best prepare students for the future, which I'm guessing, Dr. Gupta, is difficult when you don't know what the jobs of the future are.
That's exactly right, Nick. We don't know what the jobs of the future are, and that is where our challenge lies, but that is where also the great opportunity lies. How do we prepare our students? How do we get them ready for careers that do not even exist?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And that is what we are all grappling with.
You know, one of the best things that I've heard from teachers is that a lot of times they're not teaching you the answers. They're teaching you the roadmap, the pathway to get to them, which in this case sounds like what you can do is prepare students to use AI and to understand what it can and cannot do. And that probably will get them towards these jobs that we don't exist yet, but at least they're on the right road.
That's exactly right. You know, critical thinking, problem solving, these are the innate skills that we need to be able to make sure that our students get. AI is simply a tool with which the same ideas around critical thinking and problem solving become really, really important. Every business, one of our council members said, every business is a tech business now. The future is around people having digital competencies, digital skills. This has been ongoing now for a few decades, so this is not new. AI is simply accelerating this whole trend and creating a new environment within which the expectation is going to be for everybody to be competent in AI and digital skills, no matter whether their jobs is in arts and the humanities, or in communications, or in ag and natural resources, business engineering, you take it, healthcare. You know, everyone is going to be exposed to huge amounts of data. They'll require analysis, and AI is a very important tool for the future that is going to make everybody's job easier and also relevant, for them to be able to contribute solutions to problems.
You kind of laid out the groundwork there in terms of how this is going to impact every occupation, every major there. This is quite an undertaking, though, for you to introduce courses that almost every major has to take.
Nick, you know, the nice thing is we have already been doing this work now for a few years. I mean, as of fall of 2026, what we know currently, over 22 courses are already on the books related to AI. So this is not something that we are starting from ground zero. The faculty are already passionate and interested and involved in trying to make sure that the students are getting ready with the kind of skills needed for the future. And so this work has been ongoing. What we are just trying to do is make it much more organized from an institutional standpoint, that there is an ability for every student to have some kind of foundational knowledge. We'll make an elective course available which talks about AI in industry and you know, how it is being utilized by industry to solve their problems. And then, you know, each student would have to be able to make sure that depending on their discipline, depending on their major, they get the requisite skills. So the idea of discipline-specific and context-rich coursework and curriculum is already being developed. And this, of course, is the faculty prerogative, you know, within each of the colleges as to what does that mean within their college for their major to make sure that the content aligns with that discipline.
So if it's discipline specific, then we're talking about sophomores, juniors probably taking these courses as opposed to freshmen who might look at it as like a general ed?
Yeah, yeah. So, in several of the colleges, Nick, there is already this idea of a foundational course and laddering it up with greater and greater competencies, depending on, what the student is studying. What we are trying to do is make sure that we have this available where this may not already exist, such that there is a foundational course that is available if a student does not have access to that. And then, of course, the faculty will be developing these other courses. They're already developing that. We are also thinking in terms of micro credentials that can be stackable. These could be non-credit courses, but allows students to dive deeper into, let's say, the applications of AI in healthcare, so that's something that they can have competencies in if that's their desire to pursue as a career path. So it's a major undertaking, but it's also an exciting time. And what I'm reminded, this is, we talk about AI as if this is something brand new, something that is extraordinarily going to change lives and so on. And I'm reminded of the cell phone, right? You can just go back to a few decades. And nobody really used a smartphone. Today, it doesn't matter who we are talking about, even kids, they are using smartphones as if it's just an extension of their hands. And so this AI needs to be viewed in that same context where we think about every business being a tech business. Yeah. How will AI enable for a success?
So you talk about AI being... Sorry to cut you off there. You talk about AI being infused into a major. Do you foresee an actual major in artificial intelligence?
That would be a faculty decision. It could very well be the case that we have that. Just depends on the demand for those kinds of specialized majors or specialized degree programs. But suffice it to say that this doesn't necessarily have to be anything standalone. The important thing is it gets woven into every field of study, right? Yeah. So that the idea of discipline specific and context rich for me resonates very strongly. Sure. And that's the kind of guiding principles that we will use.
Yeah, well, you can get a business degree with a minor in AI. I like the way you're thinking there, Doctor. All right, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, thank you very much. Possible. Thank you for your time,
It's a great pleasure, Nick. Thank you for having us.
Take care.